my sleep is such a it's such a awful affliction, insomnia, and the way it takes away from the quality of your life that that to me would be the ultimate ROI, would be to harness the ability to go to sleep at night.
Do you want to hack it right now?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
What's your sleep problem?
I probably would have 3 less divorces if it wasn't for my sleep. My sleep problem is that I think, if I want to be dead honest with you, when I was very young, I had night terrors when I was in my 7, 8, 9, and 10 years old, right?
Yep.
And I began to, as a child, fear going to sleep at night and forcibly kept myself up because I was scared to go to sleep because I had bad dreams and even anxiety, almost panic attacks before bedtime. So I trained myself in my teens to fight sleep, and I think I got myself into a pattern of not relax. I essentially programmed myself to not sleep at night and rather fight it, and then until I'm so dead tired, I finally just pass out because I keep the TV on all night and try to avoid sleep. And that was at the beginning of it. And then I think I totally corrupted myself with drugs in my 20s. And a lot of that was about sleep too, because Quaaludes made me sleep at nighttime. Then I got sober. By the time it was too late. Then I already had gotten, the cycle was already sort of emotionally corrupted. And I think emotions tied directly to the chemicals you create in your brain. So, if I say I'm anxiety, well, there's biochemical things happening with neurotransmitters that are causing that and impacting that. And I think over time, as you said, like, any system, it gets set in a bad direction. I think that's kind of what happened.
Okay, I got it. You actually have something that I made up a name for my friend Jim Quick. Post-traumatic sleep disorder.
He's on my podcast, Jim Quick. I love Jim.
Oh, Jim's a dear friend. Okay. He's been public about having had some problems with sleeping lately. And you get this fear of not sleeping or fear of sleeping either way. Yeah. And a lot of people who are really tired, I'm so tired. And then they get afraid of being tired. So it just creates this cycle where going to sleep creates stress. Stress stops you from going to sleep, just like you described. So there's biochemical stuff that we can do, and just fixing your sleep environment the way I talked about, the way I write about in my books or on the Dave Asprey blog. I talk about sleep hacking, and there's a whole bunch of posts about sleep. So I'm going to assume that you got your sleep environment dialed in where it's dark and cool and all that kind of stuff.
Yes, it's cool. It's dark. I have good blackout shades. So
okay, you're doing it right. You don't have bright white lights in your bathroom when you wake up to pee or anything like that. All right, good. No. So the way you're going to handle your fear of sleep this is advanced stuff that I don't usually have to tell people about, but it's so cool what's going on there. There's 2 paths to getting rid of the automated pattern matching in your body. I talked about those ancient bacteria, those mitochondria before. The way your body really looks at the world is that subcellular organelles, these tiny little parts of you, they're scanning the environment for threats constantly. Right. And then if they see one, they activate the cell's threat response. And then it rolls up into the local system. And then it rolls up into the next one. And eventually it gets to your brain. But they've already triggered the alarms before you ever get a chance to pay attention. What they're doing is they're looking for a threat. And bedtime's a threat. They're going to trigger the alarm. You don't get to think about it. You don't get to decide. No one's ever seen, oh, look, there's a tiger. I think I'll decide to be afraid. Like you jump and then you notice, oh, yeah, there was a tiger about to pounce on me. Well, that's the system we have to hack. So to do that, there's 2 technologies. One of them is called EMDR, eye movement dissociative response. You go to a therapist.
For PTSD, it's very powerful.
It's for PTSD, right. The other one is something that I do at my neuroscience company. It's called Neurofeedback. My neuroscience company is called 40 Years of Zen. We take executives 5 days, intensive training, hook their brains up to electrodes, and actually look at what's going on in there and then show you how to turn it down. So you probably have very high levels of beta around bedtime in certain parts of the brain at certain wavelengths. So we look at that and go, let's show you how to turn those down so you can actually relax those and how to turn up the other brainwaves. And these are conscious skills you can learn. So the brain will self-regulate. It'll do it in a better way. So you might need to go that deep, but you might just with EMDR talk about what's the first time you ever had a night terror? Like you really go into it with a therapist doing this thing where they move your eyes back and forth with EMDR. And what's going to happen is you'll be able to go, yeah, I had these night terrors, but there's no emotion. There's no fear. There's no feeling left. You don't get any little tension in your gut.
Similar to almost like I know what it is. It's I guess you could say it would be the equivalent of a NLP timeline regression hack where I'm going back and trying to just double dissociate from my own experiences and go meta above and look down at myself with the resources of an adult and say I really wasn't scared. It was excitement or whatever it might have been, and then go back and create a safety sandwich on either side of that experience and then slowly roll up and let the memories rearrange themselves like that.
Very similar. There's a couple of nuances with EMDR that are different from that, but basically you get it. And so what you got to do is make it so you feel safe about going to bed. And then we want to address it biologically as well. And to turn on one more training thing, for about $100, you can get something called a heart rate variability trainer. And there's a few companies that make those now. This is a thing you put on your finger or you clip it on your ear. And when your body goes into sympathetic fight or flight response, you actually will see changes in your heartbeat. It doesn't get faster or slower, but the evenness of the beats increases. So a stressed animal has a perfectly even heartbeat. So still 60 beats a minute, but it's one beat every single second. And a calm animal ready for bed might have 2 beats in 1 second and 1 beat the next second. And so the variability of the spacing in that 1 minute is very varied. You won't know what that feels like unless you're an advanced meditator or yogi or something like that. But it's an app you run on your iPhone and breathe in, breathe out, make the light turn green and make a binging sound. And when you do it right, you realize there's this weird feeling in your chest. And all of a sudden you just turned off your sympathetic nervous system when that happens. And I remember I trained a hedge fund manager a while back at the beginning of Bulletproof. I used to do coaching. So this guy, very accomplished trader. And I said, you need to get one of these things. He got it and he never used it. And he said, I got bored on an airplane. So I tried it. And you know what? I kind of like this. So it took me 6 weeks to learn how to turn off my fight or flight response. But I got to where I could put the machine and I could get it in the green zone and I'm in charge of myself. So I decided just one day I was going to sit down at my desk and I was going to get myself in the zone. And then the market bell rang to open the market. He said, it turned red. He said, I spent the entire day in fight or flight mode. And I've been trading for 20 years in fight or flight mode. And it took me another 6 weeks to train myself to be calm when the market was open and my trades improved. And I went home at the end of the day and I was full of energy and I felt really good. What you're going to do though, is you're going to do this before you go to bed. You're going to spend 20 minutes. It'll only take you a month to master this. So 20 minutes before bed doing this thing, but you're going to have glasses on or dim the lights on your phone a lot if you're going to do that on your phone. And you're just going to learn how to control the nervous system. And when you do this, your heart rate variability goes down. You feel like you're just in a state of bliss and you go to sleep. And that combination of either EMDR or doing 40 years of Zen, which is a bigger investment, but has bigger amounts of things it does for you, combined with not eating before dark, combined with wearing the glasses before bed to block out all the bad light. If you don't go to sleep on that regimen, you're probably not actually human.